Admiral Kim Tae-ho stood at the bridge window of the human flagship Iron Will. He watched the massive space station grow larger as they got closer. The station was called Harmony's Edge, and it was supposed to be a place of peace. But Kim did not trust peace. He had fought aliens for 30 years, and he knew they did not give up easily. "Sir, we are getting close to the station," said Commander Yoon Mi-na. She was his intelligence officer. She was smart, but she was young. She still believed that aliens could change their minds about hating humans. Kim turned away from the window. "What do our sensors show?" "The station has normal defenses, nothing special. But there are many alien ships around it, more than they said there would be." Kim nodded. He had expected this. The Galactic Coalition had invited humans to sign a peace treaty. After 30 years of war, they wanted to stop fighting. At least, that was what they said. Kim had read the treaty papers many times. The words looked good. Too good. "How many ships?" Kim asked. 43 coalition vessels. They said there would be 20. Kim felt his jaw tighten. More ships meant more weapons. More weapons meant more danger. But Earth's government had ordered him to attend this meeting. They wanted peace so badly that they ignored all the warning signs. Captain Lee Dong-woo walked onto the bridge. He was Kim's best Marine commander. His face looked serious. "Admiral, my men are ready. But I don't like these rules they gave us." The Coalition had made strict rules for the peace meeting. All human ships had to turn off their main weapons. Only small security teams could come to the station. No heavy armor, no big guns. Just ceremony weapons, they said. Weapons for show, not for fighting. "I know, Captain. I don't like them either, but we have orders." Lee moved closer to Kim. He spoke quietly so others could not hear. "Sir, about the special cargo we discussed." Kim looked around the bridge. His officers were busy with their work. No one was listening. "Is it ready?" "Yes, sir. My team worked all night. Everything is hidden in the diplomatic cases. If anyone checks, they will only see normal meeting supplies." Kim felt a little better. 3 days ago, he had made a secret decision. If the Coalition wanted to limit human weapons, fine. But they would not stop humans from protecting themselves. Lee's Marines had taken apart advanced weapons and hidden the pieces inside innocent-looking containers. Power cells that were really plasma charges. Communication devices that held micro-drones. Even their dress uniforms had armor plates sewn inside the fabric. "Good work, Captain. Let's hope we don't need any of it." Dr. Park So-jin entered the bridge. She was the chief diplomatic advisor for this mission. She carried herself with confidence, but Kim could see worry in her eyes. "Admiral, I've been reviewing the final treaty documents. Everything looks proper. The Coalition leaders seem eager to end this war." "Maybe too eager," Kim said. Dr. Park frowned. "What do you mean?" "In 30 years of fighting, the Coalition has never given up easily. They have always fought until the last ship was destroyed. Now they want peace. They want to meet on a neutral station. They want us to come with no weapons. This feels wrong. Perhaps they are simply tired of war just as we are. Not everything has to be a trap, Admiral." Kim wished he could believe that. But his experience told him different. In war, when your enemy suddenly becomes friendly, that is when you should worry most. The communication system made a soft sound. "Admiral, we are receiving a message from the station," said the communications officer. "Put it on screen." The main display showed an alien face. It had blue skin and 4 eyes. This was Vextar, the mediator. He was the Coalition's main representative for the peace talks. "Admiral Kim Tae-ho, welcome to Harmony's Edge. We are honored that humanity has accepted our invitation for peace." Kim stepped forward. "Vextar, we are here as requested. I trust everything is ready for the ceremony." "Of course. The main conference hall awaits. We have prepared everything according to the treaty requirements. Your ships may dock at ports 7 through 12. Please remember that all weapons must remain powered down." "Understood. We will follow the agreed rules." Vextar's 4 eyes seemed to study Kim's face. "Excellent. We look forward to a new age of cooperation between our peoples." The screen went dark. Kim did not like Vextar's expression. The alien had looked too pleased, too confident. "All stations, prepare for docking," Kim ordered. "Security teams follow Protocol 7. Protocol 7 was Kim's code for extra caution. His officers knew what it meant. Watch everything. Trust nothing. Be ready for trouble. As the iron will moved toward the docking port, Kim studied the station more carefully. It was huge, bigger than a city. The coalition had built it in just 6 months. That was very fast for such a large structure. Why had they been in such a hurry? "Sir," said Commander Yoon, "I'm reading some strange energy patterns from the station." "What kind of patterns?" "They look like weapon signatures, but they're very faint, almost hidden." Kim felt his suspicions grow stronger. "Keep monitoring them. If those readings change, I want to know immediately." Captain Lee came back to Kim's side. "Admiral, my security teams are ready to transfer to the station. Dr. Lim Jin-woo has checked all our hidden equipment. Everything passed the scans. Dr. Lim was their weapons engineer. He was very good at making dangerous things look harmless. Kim was glad to have him on this mission. How many men are you taking?" 50 Marines. That's the limit they gave us. But each man carries enough hidden firepower to outfit 5 soldiers. Kim nodded. If trouble started, 50 good Marines could do a lot of damage, especially if they had the right equipment. The ship shook slightly as it connected to the station's docking port. Outside the window, Kim could see coalition soldiers. Waiting? They carried large weapons. Very large weapons for a peace ceremony. "Dr. Park, are you ready?" Kim asked. "Yes, Admiral. I have all the treaty documents. I still believe this will work. Both sides have lost too much to keep fighting." Kim hoped she was right, but he prepared for her to be wrong. 20 minutes later, Kim walked through the station's corridors with his team. Dr. Park carried the official papers. Captain Lee led the Marine Guards. They all wore their best uniforms and carried only ceremony weapons. But hidden in their equipment and clothes, they had enough real weapons to fight a small war. The station was impressive. Clean white walls, bright lights, and wide hallways. But Kim noticed something odd. For a peace station, there were many armed guards, and the guards watched the humans very carefully. "Admiral," Dr. Park whispered, "do you notice how many security cameras there are?" Kim had noticed. There were cameras everywhere, far more than needed for a simple meeting. They reached the main conference hall. It was a large room with a high ceiling. A long table sat in the center. Coalition representatives were already seated on one side. They all looked very calm. Too calm. Vextar stood up. "Welcome, humans. Please take your seats. History will remember this day." Kim sat down across from Vextar. Yes, he thought, history would remember this day. But maybe not for the reasons Vextar expected. As Kim looked around the room, he counted the exits. He noted where the coalition guards stood. He memorized the layout. If this was a trap, he would be ready. The peace ceremony was about to begin. But Admiral Kim Tae-ho prepared for war. The peace ceremony had been going on for 2 hours. Vextar spoke about friendship and cooperation. Other coalition leaders talked about ending the war. Dr. Park smiled and nodded at all the right moments, but Admiral Kim watched everything with careful eyes. Something was wrong. The coalition representatives kept looking at small devices on their wrists. They were checking the time too often. Kim had seen this behavior before. It was what soldiers did when they waited for an attack to begin. "And now," said Vextar, standing up with the treaty document, "we come to the moment that will change everything, the signing of the Galactic Peace Accord." Kim stood up as well. The cameras in the room focused on them. According to the plan, Kim would sign first, then Vextar. After that, there would be celebrations and speeches. Everyone would shake hands and smile. The war would be over, but Kim noticed that the coalition guards had moved. They were no longer standing casually by the walls. Now they were positioned near the exits. Their weapons were ready. "Admiral Kim Tae-ho," said Vextar, holding out a ceremonial pen. "Please sign the document that will bring peace to our galaxy." Kim reached for the pen. As he did, he caught Captain Lee's eye. Lee had noticed the guards, too. The Marine commander's hand rested casually near his ceremony sword. But Kim knew Lee was really reaching for the hidden weapon in his belt. Kim took the pen and looked down at the treaty. The words were there, just as they had discussed. But something felt wrong. Very wrong. Commander Yoon Mina stood behind Kim, with the other human officers. She held a data pad that was supposed to record the ceremony, but the device was actually scanning for hidden signals. Suddenly, she made a small gesture with her hand. It was a warning sign that only Kim's team knew. Kim had spent 30 years learning to read people and situations. Every instinct he had was screaming danger. But he had orders from Earth: sign the treaty, make peace, end the war. He put the pen to the paper. "Wait," said a voice from the back of the room. Everyone turned. A coalition officer had entered the hall. He walked quickly to Vextar and whispered something in his ear. Vextar's expression changed. His four eyes widened with surprise. "Is there a problem?" asked Dr. Park. Vextar looked at the officer, then at Kim, then back at the officer. He seemed to be making a decision. "Actually, yes. There is a small matter we must discuss first." Kim put down the pen. "What kind of matter?" "Well, Admiral, it seems that some of your ships are not following the agreement. Our sensors show that several human vessels still have active weapon systems." This was a lie. Kim knew his ships were following the rules exactly. All main weapons were powered down. Only basic defenses were running. "That's impossible," said Dr. Park. "We have followed every requirement." Vextar walked to a wall panel and pressed several buttons. The large screen in the room showed images from space. Kim could see his own ships docked at the station. The display showed energy readings that looked like active weapons. But Kim knew these readings were fake. The Coalition was creating false sensor data. "As you can see," said Vextar, 3 of your ships show clear weapon signatures. This violates our agreement." Captain Lee stepped forward. "Those readings are wrong. Our weapons are powered down." "Are they, Captain? Or are you planning to attack us during this peace ceremony?" The Coalition guards in the room raised their weapons. Not all the way up, but enough to show they were ready. The humans were outnumbered 5-1. "This is ridiculous," said Dr. Park. "We came here in good faith." Vextar smiled. It was not a friendly smile. "Good faith? Admiral Kim, we know about your reputation. 30 years of war. 30 years of destroying Coalition ships. Did you really think we would trust you completely?" Kim felt anger rising in his chest, but he kept his voice calm. "If you don't trust us, why invite us here?" "Oh, but we do trust you, Admiral. We trust you to be exactly what you have always been. Violent, aggressive, unable to accept real peace." The room was getting tense. Kim could see his officers getting ready for trouble. Captain Lee's hand was now very close to his hidden weapon. The Marines spread around the room were in good positions. "What are you saying?" asked Dr. Park. Vextar pressed more buttons on his panel. Now the screen showed the space around the station. More Coalition ships were arriving. Many more ships. "I am saying that this peace treaty was never real. It was a way to get your leaders and your best ships in one place. A way to end this war quickly and completely." The trap was finally revealed. Kim had been right to be suspicious, but knowing about a trap and escaping from it were different things. "You're making a mistake," Kim said quietly. "Am I?" "Admiral, you have 50 Marines with you. We have 500 soldiers on this station. You have ceremony weapons, we have battle gear. Your ships are scattered and unprepared. Our fleet is organized and ready." More Coalition guards entered the room. They surrounded the humans completely. "The war ends today," said Vextar. "But not with peace. With victory." Dr. Park looked shocked. "You planned this from the beginning. Of course, did you think we would just give up? After 30 years of fighting, did you think we would simply decide to be friends?" General Krexval entered the room. He was the Coalition's top military commander. Kim had fought against him many times. Krexvol was smart and dangerous. "Admiral Kim," said the general, "I have wanted to meet you for a long time. You have caused us much trouble." Kim studied the general's face. "Not enough trouble, it seems." "No, not enough. But that ends now. You and your officers will be our prisoners. Your ships will be captured. Earth will lose its best leaders and its finest vessels in one day." The coalition soldiers raised their weapons higher. Kim's team was completely surrounded. "This is murder," said Dr. Park. "This is war," said Krexvol. "And in war, the smart side wins." But as the general spoke, Kim noticed something. The coalition was very confident. Too confident. They thought they had won already. They thought the humans were helpless. Kim almost smiled. Almost. Because hidden in the diplomatic cases around the room were enough weapons to arm a small army. Hidden in the uniforms of his Marines were armor plates and combat gear. Hidden in their communication devices were weapons that could level this entire station. The coalition had made one big mistake. They thought humans only brought ceremony weapons because humans were weak. They did not understand that humans brought ceremony weapons because humans were smart. "General Krexvol," said Kim, "you're right about one thing. The smart side does win." Kim caught Captain Lee's eye and nodded slightly. "But you're wrong about which side is smarter." Lee's hand moved to his belt. Around the room, the other Marines got ready. The trap was about to become a counter-trap, and the coalition was about to learn that humans didn't just prepare for peace. They prepared for war while pretending to prepare for peace. Captain Lee's hand moved fast. In one smooth motion, he pulled out what looked like a simple communication device. But when he pressed a button on the side, it unfolded into a compact plasma rifle. The weapon hummed to life with deadly energy. The coalition guards were surprised. They had not expected this. "Nobody move," shouted General Krexvol. But his voice showed confusion. How did the humans have real weapons? Around the room, the other Marines were moving too. Sergeant Choi Hyun-ji opened one of the diplomatic cases. Inside, where the coalition expected to find treaty documents, were assault weapons and armor pieces. She tossed a rifle to Lieutenant Park Jae-sung and grabbed body armor for herself. "This is impossible," said Vextar. "You were searched. Your equipment was scanned." Kim smiled for the first time that day. "You scanned what we wanted you to scan." Dr. Lim Jinwoo, the weapons engineer, was working on another diplomatic case. This one contained what looked like power cells for the station's systems. But when he connected them together, they became something very different. Something that could blow holes in walls. The coalition soldiers tried to react, but they were not ready for this. They had expected helpless prisoners, not armed Marines. Captain Lee fired his weapon. The plasma bolt hit a coalition guard and sent him flying across the room. "All teams, execute Protocol Alpha." Protocol Alpha was Kim's plan for exactly this situation. His Marines moved with perfect coordination. They had practiced this many times on the ship. Lieutenant Park Jae-sung climbed onto a table and fired at the ceiling lights. The room went dark except for emergency lighting. In the dim red glow, the humans had an advantage. They knew where each other were. The coalition guards did not. "Seal the exits," ordered General Krexvol. But engineer Oh Kyung-ho was already working on that problem. He had connected his datapad to the station's computer system. The pad looked normal, but inside it had hacking software that could break through alien security. "Door controls are mine," Oh said quietly into his communication device. Locking down coalition troops in sections 4 through 7. Kim heard explosions from other parts of the station. His other teams were fighting too. The trap was becoming a battle, and humans were very good at battles. Sergeant Choi pulled out devices that looked like medical scanners. But when she activated them, they became micro-drones. The small flying machines zipped through the air and attacked coalition soldiers with electric shocks. "How is this possible?" shouted Vextar. He was hiding behind an overturned table. "You only brought ceremony. Weapons." "We brought exactly what we said we would bring," said Kim. pulling his own weapon from his uniform jacket. Ceremony weapons. We just didn't mention that our ceremonies are about war. Dr. Park was crouched behind another table. She looked scared, but also angry. You used me, she said to Vextar. You made me believe in peace just to get us here. Peace was never an option, said the alien. Your species is too dangerous to be allowed to grow stronger. Captain Lee moved through the room, like a shadow. His uniform looked normal, but the fabric had armor plates sewn inside. Coalition weapons fired at him, but the shots bounced off harmlessly. Sir, Lee called to Kim. We need to reach the communication center. If we can control the station's systems, we can help our ships. Kim nodded. Their ships were still in danger. The Coalition fleet outside was much larger than the human force. But Kim had prepared for that too. Engineer O was still working on his data pad. Admiral, I'm reading the station's defensive systems. They have weapons pointed at our ships right now. Can you turn them off? Better than that. I can turn them around. Kim understood. Instead of just disabling the station's weapons, O could make them fire at Coalition ships instead. Do it. While O worked, the Marines continued fighting. The Coalition guards were well trained, but they were not ready for this kind of battle. They had expected to capture helpless diplomats. Instead, they were fighting elite human warriors with advanced weapons. Major Ryu Byung-soo arrived with more Marines from another part of the station. Sir, we've secured the docking bays. Our ships are safe for now. What about Coalition reinforcements? They're having trouble getting to us. Someone locked down the transport systems. Ryu looked at Engineer O with approval. Dr. Jang Hyerin was treating wounded Marines with equipment from what looked like a medical case. But Kim noticed that half the case contained combat drugs and emergency surgery tools. She was a doctor, but she was also trained for battlefield medicine. Admiral, said O, looking up from his datapad. I have access to the station's main systems. The defensive weapons are under our control now. Good. Target the closest Coalition ships. Through the room's windows, Kim could see flashes of light in space. The station's massive weapons were firing at the Coalition fleet. The aliens had not expected their own defenses to be turned against them. This is not possible, General Krexval was shouting into his communication device. How are they controlling our systems? Kim walked over to the general. Two Marines kept their weapons pointed at the alien leader. General, you made one big mistake. You thought humans were stupid. You thought we would come here helpless just because we wanted peace. You violated the treaty terms. What treaty? You just admitted the treaty was fake. You can't violate an agreement that was never real. Captain Shin Yoon-young's voice came through Kim's communication device. Admiral, this is Shin in Fighter Squadron 7. We are launching from the carrier. The Coalition fleet is in disarray. Kim smiled. The Coalition had another surprise coming. The human ships had not just powered down their weapons. They had been hiding their real capabilities. What looked like simple transport vessels were actually armed with the latest human technology. Vextar, said Kim, turning to the alien mediator. You wanted to know how this was possible, I'll tell you. Humans don't just prepare for one outcome, we prepare for every outcome. The battle was turning. The Coalition's careful plan was falling apart. Their trap had become a disaster for them. Every diplomatic case was a weapon container, Kim explained. Every communication device was a tool for hacking your systems. Every piece of our equipment had a second purpose. But why? Asked Dr. Park. If you expected this, why did you come at all? Kim looked at her. Because sometimes the best way to spring a trap is to walk into it. We came here knowing you would betray us. We let you think you had won. And then we showed you what humans really do when someone tries to trick us. The Coalition guards were surrendering now. They were outnumbered and outgunned in their own station. The war isn't ending with your victory, Kim told General Krexval. It's ending with ours. The battle for Harmony's Edge was spreading through the entire station. Kim's Marines had taken the main conference hall, but the Coalition still controlled most of the facility. That was about to change. Sir, said Engineer O, looking up from his datapad. I've accessed the station's manufacturing systems. We can produce ammunition and equipment. Kim was impressed. How long did you plan this? 3 months, sir. Ever since we knew about this meeting. Dr. Lim and I studied every technical detail of this station. We know it better than the aliens. Who built it? Dr. Lim Jinwoo was setting up what looked like a portable laboratory. But Kim knew it was actually a weapons factory. In 30 minutes, it would be producing advanced ammunition for human weapons. Captain Lee spoke into his communication device. All teams advance to Phase 2. Secure the command center and the power core. Around the station, human Marines were moving with deadly efficiency. They had trained for months for this exact scenario. Every corridor, every room, every system on Harmony's Edge had been studied and memorized. Sergeant Choi Hyun-ji was leading her squad through the station's maintenance tunnels. These passages were too small for the large coalition soldiers, but perfect for human Marines. They moved like ghosts through the walls. Team 3 in position at the power core, Choi reported. Setting charges now. Kim nodded. They would not destroy the power core, but they would control it. With the station's power under human command, the coalition could not use their heavy weapons. Lieutenant Park Jae-sung had taken position in the station's observation deck. From there, he could see the space battle outside. Human ships were fighting coalition vessels with weapons the aliens had never seen before. Admiral, Park reported through his rifle scope, our ships are winning. The coalition fleet is retreating. This was not surprising to Kim. The human fleet had been hiding its true power for years. What looked like simple cargo ships were actually carriers full of advanced fighters. What appeared to be research vessels were really battleships with experimental weapons. Admiral Zefkol, the coalition fleet commander, was learning this the hard way. His ships had expected to fight the same human vessels they had battled for 30 years. Instead, they faced a completely new kind of enemy. Sir, said Commander Yoon Mi-na, we're receiving a message from Admiral Zefkol. He wants to surrender. Kim almost laughed. Tell him we'll consider it after we finish taking his station. In the manufacturing bay, Dr. Lim had the production systems working at full speed. Robotic arms that usually made station components were now creating human weapons and armor. The facility was producing enough equipment to arm 1,000 soldiers. Major Ryu Byung-soo arrived with reports from across the station. Sir, we control 60% of Harmony's Edge. Coalition forces are trapped in the outer sections. Casualties? Minimal. 12 wounded, none dead. The coalition has lost over 200 soldiers. This was the difference between a planned attack and a desperate defense. The humans had prepared for this battle. The coalition was just reacting. General Krexvoll sat under guard in the conference hall. His confident expression was gone. Now he looked old and defeated. How? He asked Kim. How did you know? We didn't know for certain, Kim admitted. But we suspected. In 30 years of war, you have never offered peace before. You have never invited us to meet on neutral ground. You have never asked us to limit our weapons. When enemies suddenly become friendly, smart people prepare for betrayal. Dr. Park was helping treat wounded coalition soldiers. Even though they had tried to kill her, she was still a diplomat. She still believed in treating prisoners well. This didn't have to happen, she told Vextar. We could have had real peace. The alien mediator looked bitter. Your species is too dangerous for peace. You are too clever, too prepared, too willing to fight. The galaxy will never be safe while humans exist. Then you should not have tried to trick us, said Dr. Park. Captain, Shin Eun-young's voice came through the communication system again. Admiral, coalition reinforcements are jumping into the system. 47 new ships. Kim was not worried. Captain, execute Plan Delta. Plan Delta was the final surprise Kim had prepared. Hidden in the outer system were human ships that had been waiting for weeks. They looked like asteroids or space debris, but they were actually armed platforms controlled by human crews. Plan Delta activated, reported Captain Shin. Ghost Squadron is moving to intercept. The coalition reinforcements had expected to find their own fleet victorious and the human ships destroyed. Instead, they found themselves surrounded by hidden human forces that appeared from nowhere. "This is impossible," said Admiral Zefkol, over the communication system. "Where did these ships come from?" Kim took the communication device. "Admiral Zefkol, this is Kim Taeho. Those ships have been waiting for you. We knew you would bring reinforcements. We knew you would try to ambush us. So we prepared an ambush for your ambush." Engineer O looked up from his work. "Sir, I have complete control of the station now. All coalition systems are under human command." Kim walked to the main control panel. With a few button presses, he could lock down every coalition soldier on the station. He could control their life support, their communications, everything. "Attention coalition forces," Kim announced over the station speakers. "This is Admiral Kim Tae-ho. Harmony's Edge is now under human control. Your fleet is defeated. Your reinforcements are surrounded. You have one choice: surrender or be destroyed." The response came quickly. Coalition soldiers throughout the station began laying down their weapons. They had been outfought, outplanned, and completely defeated. "Sir," said Captain Lee, "we're receiving surrender signals from 32 coalition ships. The rest are trying to retreat." "Let them go," Kim decided. "They can tell the rest of the coalition what happens when you try to trick humans." Vextar looked around the conference hall. Human Marines controlled every exit. Human technology controlled every system. The coalition's perfect trap had become their complete defeat. "You planned all of this," Vextar said. "From the beginning, you knew what would happen." "We planned for what might happen," Kim corrected. "The difference is important. You planned for one outcome and failed. We planned for many outcomes and succeeded." Dr. Park sat down at the conference table. The treaty documents were still there, unsigned and now meaningless. "What happens now?" she asked. Kim looked at the papers. "Now we write a real treaty, one with real terms, one where both sides tell the truth. The battle for Harmony's Edge was over. The coalition's trap had failed completely, but Kim knew this was just the beginning. Now came the hard part: building actual peace from the ruins of betrayal. 3 days after the battle, Harmony's Edge looked very different. Human flags flew alongside coalition banners. Human guards stood next to alien prisoners. And in the main conference hall, a real peace negotiation was finally beginning. "Admiral," Kim sat at the head of the table. This time he was not a guest hoping for peace. He was the victor deciding the terms of surrender. Across from him sat the surviving coalition leaders, including Vexitar and General Krexvol Ambassador Kang Minho, had arrived from Earth with a team of real diplomats. Unlike the fake ceremony 3 days ago, this meeting would create a lasting agreement. "Let's be clear about our situation," Kim said to the coalition representatives. "Your trap failed. Your fleet is destroyed or scattered. Your station is under human control. You are in no position to make demands." Elder Morthak, the oldest member of the Coalition Council, spoke for the first time. His voice was tired and defeated. "What are your terms, Admiral?" General Nam Soo-jin opened a datapad with the human proposal. "Complete withdrawal of coalition forces from all disputed systems. Reparations for 30 years of war. Full recognition of human territorial claims, and most importantly, no more attempts at deception or betrayal." Vextar looked angry. "These terms are too harsh. You are demanding our complete surrender." "You're right," said Kim. "We are. You tried to destroy us completely. Now we're returning the favor." Dr. Song Young-woo, the political scientist, explained the details. "The coalition will be divided into smaller regions. No single government will control more than 5-star systems. This will prevent future alliances against humanity." Elder Morthak closed his 4 eyes in defeat. "You are breaking apart our civilization." "You tried to break apart ours," Ambassador Kang reminded him. "The difference is that we succeeded." Captain Lee entered the hall with a report. "Sir, the last coalition ships have left the system. Our fleet controls all space within 10 light-years of this station." Kim nodded. Human forces now controlled the most important strategic location in this part of the galaxy. Any future war would have to go through human space first. Dr. Park sat quietly at the table. She looked sad but not surprised. I really believed we could have peace, she said to Vextar. Peace was never possible, the alien replied. Humans are too dangerous. You proved that these past 3 days. We're only dangerous to people who try to betray us, Kim corrected. If you had come here honestly, if you had really wanted peace, we would have signed your treaty. We would have kept our promises. Commander Yoon Mi-na brought in the final battle reports. Sir, total casualties from the coalition trap. Human forces lost 0 ships and had 18 wounded. Coalition forces lost 41 ships and over 800 personnel. The numbers showed how completely the coalition had been defeated. Their perfect plan had become a perfect disaster. How? Asked General Krexvoll. How did you know exactly what we would do? Dr. Lim Jin-woo answered. We studied your species for 30 years. We learned how you think, how you plan, how you fight. When you offered peace after never offering it before, we knew it was a trap. But you came anyway, said Elder Morthak. We came because walking into your trap was the fastest way to end this war, Kim explained. We could have fought for 10 more years in space battles. Instead, we let you gather your forces in one place and defeated you in 3 days. Engineer O was still working on the station's systems. Admiral, I finished analyzing their computer networks. The coalition was planning similar traps for 3 other human colonies. All their plans are now in our databases. This information made the coalition leaders look even more defeated. Not only had their main plan failed, but all their backup plans were now known to the enemy. The war is over, Ambassador Kang announced. The question now is what kind of peace we will have. Kim stood up and walked to the window. Outside, human ships patrolled the space around the station. In the distance, coalition vessels fled toward their home systems. There are 2 kinds of peace, Kim said. Peace between equals and peace between victor and defeated. You chose which kind we would have when you decided to set a trap. Dr. Park looked at the treaty documents on the table. So we're the conquerors. Now? We're the survivors, Kim corrected. The coalition tried to kill us all. We chose to let most of them live. That's not conquest. That's mercy. Vextar made one last attempt at negotiation. Surely some compromise is possible. The galaxy is large enough for both our peoples. Kim turned back to the table. You're right. The galaxy is large enough. That's why your people will be allowed to keep some of their worlds. But you will never again be strong enough to threaten humanity. Elder Morthak signed the surrender document with a shaking hand. May the universe forgive us for what we tried to do. The universe doesn't need to forgive you, said Kim. You need to forgive yourselves, and you need to learn to live with the consequences of your choices. One by one, the coalition leaders signed the treaty. This document was very different from the fake peace agreement they had prepared. This one had real terms, real consequences, and real enforcement. Captain Shin Yoon-young's voice came through the communication system. Admiral, Earth Command is requesting a full report. They want to know how the peace mission became a military victory. Kim almost smiled. Tell them the peace mission succeeded perfectly. We now have peace, just not the kind anyone expected. The coalition representatives were escorted away. Dr. Park remained at the table. Was this always your plan? To turn their trap into our victory? No, Kim admitted. My plan was to be ready for anything. When they chose betrayal, we were ready for betrayal. If they had chosen real peace, we would have been ready for peace too. And now? Kim looked at the signed treaty documents. Now we have what they tried to prevent. A galaxy where humans are strong enough to defend themselves. A galaxy where no one will try to trick us again. Ambassador Kang gathered the papers. These terms will be transmitted to every coalition world. The new order begins today. Kim walked back to the window. The stars looked the same as they had 3 days ago. But everything had changed. The coalition would never again be a threat to humanity. The war that had lasted 30 years was finally over. Sir, said Captain Lee, what are your orders? Kim thought about the question. For 30 years, his orders had been simple. Fight the enemy, Protect human space, win the war. Now the war was won, the enemy was defeated. Human space was safe. Orders are to go home, Captain, to build the peace we fought for, to make sure this never happens again. As the human fleet prepared to leave Harmony's edge, Kim made one final announcement to the coalition forces. We came here for peace, but we brought war. Next time, if there is a next time, maybe you'll actually want the peace we're offering. The Treaty of Harmony's Edge became the foundation of galactic law for the next 100 years. It established humanity as the dominant power in their region of space. More importantly, it taught every alien species an important lesson. Never try to trick humans. They might be prepared for exactly that.